I just took a shower. It's actually a pretty big deal for me. But I just wanted to talk about, I guess, just as I'm kind of learning about how to interact as a human after kind of living in a cave and disconnecting from so many emotions that I would feel, and I would just kind of crush by like hiding, or like I wouldn't deal with them because I didn't want them to get in the way of my work, which was just making jokes, because I just thought that was the most important thing in the world. And now I'm just kind of realizing that, it's not. But I just wanted to talk about relationships. There are people in my life that I would feel, these very strong emotions for, like stronger than anything I've felt. And I wouldn't really know what to do. Boo Boo's down here all, what are you doing? You licking my hand right now, trying to focus? But I wouldn't know kind of how to compartmentalize my life. So I would kind of like, I would feel this emotion for somebody, and go and just laugh with them and drive around and just have a great time. And then when I was done with that, I would be like, I haven't done any, I haven't like stuck to a schedule or anything. I haven't done any work, and I would just panic. I think in my head I was kind of maybe blaming the relationship or whatever, and then feeling like I need to sabotage it in whatever stupid way that makes sense. It doesn't, but I wasn't stepping back and trying to understand everything. And like I've always been like, I would always be like, let's try like a relationship counseling, and when you suggest that, I think it offends the other person sometimes, even though I don't think it should, because it's complicated. Like when you have more work than anybody does, like making YouTube videos and posting them as often as you can and staying relevant, commenting on things that are just now happening and getting out a polished piece of like art, basically, like trying to balance that by yourself with your own relationships in your life. It's not easy. I mean, I failed. I mean, which is good. So then I'm like, all right, cool. So I sucked at that. How do I fix that? Obviously that hasn't happened yet, but sometimes. I guess I don't really know what I'm trying to say, but the things that felt like they were really successful. I mean, dude, when you're in a relationship that's important to you, like in communication is difficult sometimes, because you turn on the camera. For me, you turn on the camera and then you try to be like this freaking personality where you're like, whoa, blah, 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 which I don't even know why I did that. I mean, it's fun to have like these like to be a character. It's fun to play a character, and if the character is this like bulletproof like guy who's just happy all the time, which I am kind of like that. I mean, I've been happy all the time through like some horrible stuff, just cause, like, why not? I guess there have been times when it's hard to do that, but anyway, whatever. I was gonna say something that I thought was really good, like in a like we were kind of having problems in this relationship I was in, and we didn't do this enough, but it was like the coolest, where you would write in a journal together, and then so one of you would write basically an entry, and you'd both be there, and then the other one would read that entry and kind of like write their own thing. So like it's cute and funny, but you could also put in like real, like, and I would very much appreciate it if Toby could be there for this thing that I would, that's very important to me. And then I would just be like, well, I would very much see where you're coming from. But just the fact of writing it down in this like peaceful, slow way, because writing is pretty slow, and the message gets sent, I think, in a more permanent way if you're actually writing, like journaling together. So I mean, that's something I thought was helpful. I think I'm gonna, when I get back into like, I'm just slowly figuring out what I want to do, because the stuff that I really want to do is like big projects, big undertakings that would take a lot of time. But I also, to even get to that place, like I'm kind of, just being healthy and like working on myself and like playing with my dogs, being ready to be in that position again, where I can have myself under control and then be able to, give someone else what they would need, which, I've done. Like, the happiest I've been were in, long-term, I've been in like three-year relationships or something like that. And you know, then I kind of started this weird whirlwind of a chapter of life where everybody was trying to, you know, promote each other, like get promotion, you know, whatever. And I've been talking about it over the last couple weeks. But go into a career where you broadcast yourself and you create this content and you have like this, like, it's a strange undertaking. If you don't have a schedule and you don't stick to it, then sometimes you'll be like, I gotta finish this project and it's taking forever. And they're like, I need to talk to you right now. And you're like, I can't. I need to focus on this thing. And then that turns into like this thing where like, well, fine, I'm gonna blah blah blah. I'm gonna go do this thing that like upsets you right now, and then you're not gonna be able to focus anyway. I'm gonna go to the club with my ex-boyfriend. Blah, blah, blah. He's there for me when I need him, and like that's a totally valid thing to think. People have needs in relationships, and if you're not meeting and you know, like I've been bad at communicating, or bad at like keeping my my promises of like when I would be available or whatever, and it sucks. I get it. But you know, it's like sometimes I would get like held up at a thing, and it's not okay, because like you said you're gonna do this thing, you need to do it, and if you can't do that, then you're breaking your word, and they don't hold their word to you either, and then everything just kind of falls apart. One time I was stuck at a charity event, and I was like I can't. I mean, I'm stuck at this charity. It's a charity event. There's kids. They're like, oh wow, okay, yeah, use the kids, yeah. And the point is like you gave your word that you were gonna do this thing, and you did it. Even if you feel like the person you're with is like the greatest person you've ever met, you've had this feeling that you've never had, and you're like, it's the most important thing in the world, but you're like just panicked because you know you don't know how to live the rest of your life because you just like this person so much, and they see it as maybe you don't like them as much as you say you do, and then you know you spend all this time trying to explain how you feel instead of like taking that moment to like look at yourself and understand kind of what you're causing by not being there. Relationships are complicated. You can't talk about how hot someone else is. You just can't do that anymore. Like that's like, even if you're like, you know, in your head you're like, I mean, obviously like you're the hottest thing in the world, but like look at that. You know, you can't, because like what, that doesn't send the right message. How somebody looks, like who cares? Like it has nothing to do with who they are, you know. And it's so funny because they didn't do anything to deserve that. I mean, unless they work out a bunch and they're super fit or whatever, but even still, like they're built this way that they had no say in. Like it's not even really a compliment. Like, look how hot. Like, not even really a compliment. Like you are realizing like, oh, the structure of the organisms that are put together into this person, like, very appealing. So what? They probably suck. You gotta make the person that you love, like you pour your soul into, like you gotta let them know how much you love them and like how, you know, how important they are to you, because it's not easy for them to just figure that out and they can't look in your brain. They can just kind of put together this like list of experiences they've had with you, and that's the resulting feeling from that is what they got to go on. And that's not enough. You need to make effort. You're not in a place to make that effort, like, because you got to figure stuff out first. Then you should be like, hey, by the way, not a good time. And then they'll be like, oh no, it's okay. You're like, no, it's not. No, it's very, I have no idea what I'm doing right now with my life. What I'm saying is just really vague, but I mean, I'm just trying to get something out. I'm just trying to pour something out. I hope it sounds like a positive message and not a horrible one. Everything is so much different now. Now that we have social media, it's so different. The world is so different. How we interact, how we think, how we make people like think we're thinking. We want to look like we're like a certain way because we create this perfect image online. Like, it's a different world. That's like a bad thing, and I understand. Like, it's a cool new thing that we have to learn how to live with, social media. And if you live on it, like, that's your freaking choice. And it's kind of, you really don't know what you're getting into. But once you get into it, you got to figure it out. The goal right now is just to kind of figure out, you know, how to express myself better, I think, in relationships, and then yeah, stick to my word above my in my personal relationships, above my my intended schedule, which is like an impossible task a lot of times. And if that falls short, then that's okay. Bless your face. If you sneezed on this video, bless you. If I made any sense at all, click like and add to favorites if that even exists anymore. Who cares? Peace out. Outro of darkness, then redness, then whiteness. It is fun though when you realize you got 15 seconds left and you're already to the outro. So then you just have to kind of, you know, you have to come back and reevaluate. Like, did you have anything else you needed to say? Because obviously, like, the time threshold was not met. Because like a video is not important unless it's 10 minutes. So like you have to just take a moment, just kind of consider, and then you're like, you know, No, I think I said everything I wanted to say. So then you pretty much just end the video after that, basically.